Good evening, everybody. I'm in Shenzhen. It doesn't really look like Shenzhen, does it? There is a story behind that. I'll get to it in just a moment. I got here in the morning, very bleary eyed and tired, but this is a pretty nice change of setting. So, just to come to where I am at the moment, this is a place that's called OCT Loft, the Overseas Chinese Town Loft. It has a very bohemian character to it. It has got a very artsy vibe to it. What's this place really? So the OCT was developed as a pet project, as a rehabilitative project, economically speaking, in a locality that used to be known for its factories, for its industrial character. Flip it around and show you what we are looking at, where we are looking at as well. You'll find a number of foreigners, you'll find a number of expatriates here, and it's precisely that kind of locality, much like the streets of Mattanjeri in Kochi in Kerala. This is again not too different, except that you'll find a very unique combination, a very unique fusion of state of the art cutting edge technology alongside some artistic murals and graffiti, plenty of children playing around, plenty of photo shoots, and this is a very common sight. It's quite magnificent, if you ask me. And you'll find a number of these places. Let me just walk around and also tell you the story of how this place became what it eventually has become. This OCT Loft is located in the Nansheng region of Shenzhen. It's very easily accessible through the subway, which is what I took, the MTR as they call it here and in Hong Kong. This place, mind you, in fact, Shenzhen does have a very strong trace of Hong Kong. Let me just show you around, even as I continue to narrate the transformative story of this very, very interestingly set up place. So, Shenzhen, about 40 years ago, used to be a fishing village, a far cry from the monumental scrapers, the skyscrapers that we see these days. But it was the start of a unique confluence of state controlled communist economics and market economics. And this is also a place where you'll find a number of very cute cafes, very artistic cafes where events are held throughout the year. You find the jazz music festival that happens annually. And have a look at that mural. As you can see, it's a huge hit with some of the youngsters here. This place was part of the project that was conceived in 2004 as a means to restore, rehabilitate an old industrial hub into something pretty similar to what we see today. And hence, we see this brimming with a lot of artistic character. And it's especially been made keeping the overseas Chinese community in mind, which explains the name, the Overseas Chinese Town Loft. You also have the OCT Harbor, not too far from here. Of course, Windows of the World is another popular landmark here in Shenzhen. But this again can be attributed largely to a child of the former Chinese stalwart, largely renowned and reputed to be the architect of modern China, Deng Xiaoping. And Deng Xiaoping was the man who was credited with the concept of a socialist market economy. And this is very much in sync with what he had envisaged many, many years ago. And over the last 40 years, the city has turned from a sleepy fishing village into something very vibrant, very colorful, and yet seeks to preserve its inherently idyllic character. And so you see, this place has been done up so very beautifully. And like I said, it's fairly easy to access on a subway, and from downtown in Shenzhen, even a cab ride shouldn't really cost much. But the subway, especially if you take the there is something called the Yantong Cheng card in Guangzhou. Here, of course, you see a slightly different version of it, the Shenzhen Tong card. You can recharge the card and use it on subways and on buses. Unfortunately, the guy who recharged my card had done it for 100 yuan, and I'm here only for 2.5 days. So I bet that is a bit of a waste if you're not planning to come by here often. But there is enough to go around here, and enough to savor if you take the time out, and which is precisely why the OTC Loft is something you're better off spending time on a lazy afternoon where you're just easing into the city like I am after having made a long commute. So something like that would possibly be the best way to go about, and it's also very labyrinthine. Flip it around and show you. It's not exactly easy, although there are signages everywhere. It's not exactly easy to figure out where to go from point A to point B, but there's enough to keep you interested. There are enough places up front as well